Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And welcome to hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. Talk of Las Vegas. We are also streaming worldwide on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download that right now if you haven't. Always handy to have that thing in your back pocket so you can listen to all of our great programming on KDAWN and a ton of other stuff too. So make sure you check that out, AUDACY. And we are streaming on Facebook, X, and YouTube. So get your subscription to YouTube right now. Click on that button. It's not hard. Just go to the Mark Hoke Show and ding. And you know what? You're going to be a happier person for it. I promise. You will.
But you have to make that sound though when you click subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the ding. Record yourself doing the ding. You can send it to me on the old X. That'll be fun. Phil Stamper from Pro Wrestling Revolver, the president of wrestling. Hail to the chief. By the way, I saw a photo of you choking somebody out, by the way. That was pretty cool.
It wasn't a photo, it was a video, and I deny such allegations.
Whatever. Don't lie. Phil Stamper, shame on you. At Trust and Phil. And Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. At Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Hey, quick side note.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yes.
Going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, Chicago Bears legend, former member of the Four Horsemen, and proud lifetime Longhorn from the University of Texas.
Jeez, Sue. Between you and Ohio State with the stuff, can you get that out of here? Come on. Come on,
we are the flagship university for the Lone Star State, so you know.
Well, I'm not going to dispute that, but come on, the president, the sports guy, whatever. Come on, get it? No. But yeah, congratulations to Mongo, and very happy that he was able to get through his health issues and is going to be actually around. Because I'll tell you what, they almost left him out before maybe time came up. So we're very happy that Mongo gets to go in as a living member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Very cool. And don't forget, by the way, it is our 3rd anniversary of the show. So thank you for all the support over the years so far. We're looking forward to a lot more till I keel over, or they fire me, one of the two. Could go either way.
Don't put that into the air. WrestleMania is coming to Vegas. You can't do that.
Well, I know all you guys want to come visit. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for the first person. Hey, Mark, you got an extra bed? I'm waiting for it. It's coming. Somebody's going to do it. And that's okay. I don't mind. But yeah, very exciting time. By the way, I was talking to the sports, Las Vegas Sports and Convention Authority here, and hopefully we're going to be having.
You mean the Las Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, but we're trying to get something set up for Lisa Nutley to come on the show, so that'll be a lot of fun to get to talk to her. But we're trying to just finalize the time on that. Oh, by the way, next week on the show, Chris Statlander is going to be joining us.
Ooh,
yeah! Right. So we get to hear from Chris Statlander, who's going to be probably winning a world championship for Mexico in Wembley. Amazing how that works out, but hey, there we go. It's a smaller world now in pro wrestling. Nobody knows he's got a joke off that. All right, that's fine. No problem. I was hoping somebody was going to jump in on that, but you guys let me down. It's all right. No problem. See, there you go again.
We're tired.
I know. You guys, Phil's on the East Coast, and had to stay up late and watch SummerSlam, and I'm sure, Stu, you're Central Time, so it wasn't much better for you either.
Well, plus we're dealing with summer. It's, 100 plus degrees like it is in Las Vegas, 100 plus here in the beautiful ATX.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's not 120. 110 I can sort of deal with, but that 120 day was horrendous. Well, one guy that got to have a hot night last night in Cleveland is Gunther, as he walks out of Cleveland Browns Stadium with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, knocking off Damian Priest. Honestly, guys, I thought this was the match of the night. I really enjoyed it. Both these guys went at each other, and Damian Priest leveled up to me yesterday. I really think that he did. He just about out-physicaled Gunther last night, and you don't see that in a match very often.
Yeah.
But a fantastic effort, of course, spoiled by that rat Finn Balor, who put Gunther's leg on the rope to save the championship attempt for him, and then helped Gunther win the title. And so we have two things to deal with on this. Number one, we've got a new world champion, and number two, part of the implosion of the Judgment Day that took place last night at SummerSlam. But Phil, let's get to Gunther first. Not a surprise that he is the new world champion. And some people weren't sure about it, but this is going to be a very entertaining world championship reign, I think, given the near invulnerability that he's been booked with.
Which surprised me to the point of how much he was beaten down last night by Damian Priest. And I said this earlier, this was, to me, Damian Priest's best showing since he's been the heavyweight champion. So I hope, Damian Priest, I'm sure he'll go off and fight Finn Balor next in whatever he's going to be doing. But I hope he works his way back. I hope this isn't the last time we've seen Damian Priest on top. I think it was a bit of a shock for some people that he got there. But I hope we don't forget him, because that we've seen that sometimes in the past. I was almost surprised Gunther wasn't stronger in this match. I like the involvement of Finn. The actual finish, I didn't know if I liked. The let's go for a sleeper hold. I'm angry at Finn. Let's go for a sleeper hold, and that's the match. I felt like it was an anticlimax for me. And I don't know why, because, you normally, here's Gunther. He's just going to beat the ever living crap out of somebody. And I don't feel like we got that same level of Gunther regression, because I think Damian gave it to him. And I feel it took a little bit of steam away. I mean, very happy that it was going to be Gunther. I don't think it was a big shock that Gunther got the championship. And I'm interested in, and again, it's always the story of what I like about wrestling is I get to see what happens next. That's the exciting part. But let's not forget about Damian Priest and what he's going to be doing.
No, I would totally agree with you. Stu, I'm sure you're on that bandwagon too. I don't know if I've talked to you about him enough.
Oh, absolutely. I've been a big fan of his, going back to his Punishment Martinez days in Ring of Honor. And I thought Damian Priest really did a fantastic job last night. I agree with Phil. The whole, from draping the leg over the rope, that little segment until the pinfall felt a little cluttered, felt a little clunky. But yeah, Gunther is World Heavyweight Champion. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let's see who steps up to him. At the same time, again, this implosion of the Judgment Day. and let's see what Damian
There's
does.
no other Judgment Days.
It's going to be, obviously the first program out of the gate is going to be Finn and Damian. I think that's pretty logical. But let's see what happens, with whatever's left of the Judgment Day. Are we going to still call it the Judgment Day? Whatever. But yeah, and I'm with you, Mark. I really hope that Damian Priest stays very relevant. I hope they keep him around the main event picture, because he is just such a talented dude. And I want to see more from Damian Priest.
Yeah, because now if you think about it, guys, we've got 5 people sitting there that are legitimate contenders to that World Heavyweight Championship. Mm-hmm. Balor, Priest, Punk, McIntyre, Rollins. That's a pretty good 6 guys to have at the top of your card. And there's some other guys too. Just the rundown through it. I'm looking at a list here. Chad Gable's still hanging around out there. You have the Wyatt 6. who knows what's going to happen with those guys? Could Gunther have to deal with one of them? Dragunov is still out there, and I'm sure everybody wants to see that match happen again. So there's and Jey Uso, the Usos. I mean, is Jay going to get back in this thing? So there are a lot of people out there that could be chasing this championship. Gunther's going to get a big line.
I'll be honest, and it may just be kind of the post syndrome from having Bray Wyatt as champion. I would keep the Wyatt 6 out of the world title picture, because they don't necessarily need championships to tell their story.
Yeah.
I want to see them wrestle, which we're going to get it tomorrow night with the Wyatt 6 taking on Chad Gable and the Creeds. I want to see them wrestling, and that was my big thing when they introduced this group, was that all the spooky wooky stuff is fine, but let's see them wrestle. So at least we're getting there. I'd say keep them away from the world title picture for now.
There you go, Phil. You're nodding your head on that.
I agree with that. I was almost surprised that we didn't get to see a little bit of the Wyatt 6 last night, just as even like a little teaser of things to come. But I would agree. I think there's so much business happening right now near the world title picture, and even over with the Undisputed Championship. I don't think they need it, at least not right this second. I think there's an ebb and flow of when you can get there, and you're right. You just don't need it this second.
I would definitely agree with you on that. Now, we get to the main event last night, and coming into this Friday night, if you missed it, we got new World Tag Team Champions. Mm-hmm. So the Bloodline taking those belts home on Friday, knocking off DIY. So a quick reign for DIY, but the World Tag Team titles fall in the hands of the Bloodline, and we get Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa last night. And, I liked the match. I didn't love it, just because this is same formula. It had a reminiscent of a mini WrestleMania main event that Cody and Roman had, until the end, of course, where the big man came out. But all the interference. I mean, it was a Bloodline match, of course, the Bloodline rules match, so it was legal. But it just seemed very repetitive to me in terms of, I just saw that match at WrestleMania. But then Roman Reigns makes his return and just plows Solo Sikoa into the ground, and Cody ends up winning the match. So a big return for Roman, as he is now back in this and looks like he's going to be a babyface. But thoughts on the match and then Roman's return, Stu? I'll give you the first shot.
The match was fine. Like you said, it felt a little bit of a carbon copy from what we saw at Mania with Cody and Roman. I think the crowd, because it was Bloodline rules match, the crowd was waiting for the interference.
Yeah.
And so that didn't help it much. We did finally see Tama Tonga Tangaloa come in, and then, everything with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Here comes Jacob Fatu. And, oh, by the way, praying for, Jacob Fatu. Hopefully, whatever injury it was, hopefully it's not serious. There is a report from Wrestling Observer that showed somebody took a picture of him in a walking boot. Hopefully that is precautionary. Let's hope he's not out for very long. But yeah, and then the return of Roman Reigns, which, I think that was expected. And so now you got Roman coming back, the T-shirt OTC. So, let the Bloodline Civil War begin. But yeah, it was fine. It did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, Phil. So now, where does Cody go from here? Are we done with Cody and the Bloodline for now, or is we gonna get a Roman Cody team up and be a part of a chasing off this new Bloodline group? I'm torn, because, to be honest with you, I kind of want to see Cody take on some other guys. I'm a little bit done with this.
I agree with you. I think I was sitting there going, either they can do it really quick. Roman comes out, tomorrow night on Raw and just is like, I've always been the tribal chief, and everybody just comes back and like, all right, yes, you're the chief. And like everything just reverts back to Roman. But I feel like there's also a couple of stories involved here, because aren't we waiting until WrestleMania to find out if it's going to be Roman versus Rock finally, or is it going to be Cody versus Rock finally, until we see The Rock another year after that? So it's sort of, are we building to those points, or are we building to something different? You're right, because Roman came back. I mean, people were anticipating it. There were a lot of signs, you know, hinting towards, literal signs in the arena hinting towards, we want Roman, manifesting Roman, those kinds of things. And he shows up, and huge pop reaction. Liked it. I thought, you know, he was going to attack Solo and then attack Cody, and he left Cody alone and walked away. And so is it because he's saving Cody for himself? Is it he's seen the error of his ways and needs to restore the family honor? Like, where are they going to go with this? So right now he'll be on the side. And I agree with you. This gives Cody the opportunity to wrestle some other people, gets away from the bloodline until they come back later. Like, I feel like it'll swerve back in that direction, but for the interim, go in another direction.
Yeah. And that's the issue with The Rock hanging around. And of course, they had that big promo after WrestleMania that their paths were going to cross again. And, you know, our story's just getting started. So Dwayne is still looming very large over this. But I have a feeling he's going to be in charge of this second bloodline. And I would go Rock Roman if it were me. That's the direction I would take this. But, you know, who knows? But it was interesting. Roman, you know, one thing about Roman, when I watched him walk out and just, you know, be in the arena, what poise that guy's got. You know, you just look at him and you just feel like this is one of the best people in the world doing this right now. You don't feel like there's a flaw there. You know, the look, the way he carries himself, man, he just looked incredible last night. I don't know if it was just me, but you know, he just struck me as, this is a champion right here. You know, and he could be a champion in anything.
You think 10 years ago when he was part of the Shield with you know, John Moxley and Seth Rollins, and Roman's the one that comes out as the big superstar. You know, I think, you know, it's good on Roman making the best of what he's had. I do think we will eventually see Roman putting his bloodline back together. Jimmy's got to come back with Paul Heyman. We might see Jay get lured back. We'll see. Think about Survivor Series, which just got announced for Vancouver. Could we see a bloodline versus bloodline war games? And you know, if that's the case, where's Hikuleo? You know, allegedly he's finished up with New Japan. He's signed with WWE. We're just waiting to debut him. Could he be part of that? Could he come out on Roman's side? You know, that could be a nice twist. Let's see where that goes. We got a few months, and let's see Cody face some other folks. You know, you got, I hate to say it, but Logan Paul would be a contender, I could say. Let's hope that's not the longest match on earth. But, you know, I could see Logan Paul becoming a contender somehow. But I want to see Cody face some other folks.
Yeah, I'm just bracing myself for Cody and Randy Orton. Let's just let them tear each other apart for 6 months, and I'll be okay with it.
There you go.
That'd be all right. Yeah. So that's what happened at SummerSlam last night. Before we go to break, let's ask you guys just overall impressions of the night. You know, if you're grading this, where do you think it is? You know, did you enjoy it? You know, I know, Phil, you thought there was just a lot of wonky things in the matches, but overall, where'd you come out on this?
So, I mean, even though I saw it, and I guess in my brain I have a weird critique mind, so I give it a B, because I think overall it hit the right buttons. It presented a lot of good things. It did a lot of change. But there was still some weird timing issues that seemed to permeate through. As I went back through, every match but one had outside interference. there were some repeated kinds of similar, we're all going after a shoulder in 3 out of the first 4 matches. So there's things I'm like, I would have done this maybe a little, I'm going to modify, I'm going to say a B-.
Stu, your overall thoughts at SummerSlam?
I'll go B as well. The one note that nobody ever, put forth was LA Knight when he hits blunt force trauma, rolls Logan Paul over, pins him. Logan Paul's foot was outside the rope.
Oh, that's right.
And in fact, when they replayed the pinfall, they cut off they hit 1, they hit 2, and then it cuts. So you don't see it necessarily. I thought when I first saw it initially, I thought, Logan's foot was on the rope, but no, it was under the rope. So could they make that a story? We'll see. It could have been simply, something as simple as they just, it was there, but we're not supposed to notice it.
Yeah. So it was probably, I think it was more a mistake on Logan's part than anything else. Those rooks. What are you going to do? But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I put it in the B-ish category. A lot of fun, and but there were some glitches in the matches. I totally agree with Phil that I thought there were some spots that just seemed very awkward. But overall, I thought it was a lot of fun, and this is going to be a neat reset now for WWE with a bunch of new champions on the board. Man, where this goes, nobody knows. This is going to be fun. But I know where we've got to go. We've got to go to a commercial break because if we don't, I'm going to get in trouble. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. The meeting of the minds. Tony Khan, Shane McMahon in an airport in Arlington. And we're going to talk about what is this all about. Holy cow. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick. We'll be right back.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show, hour number 2 here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The talk of Las Vegas, streaming on the Odyssey app and also live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and X. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Got to remind everybody, coming up also in Las Vegas, the Wrestle Connect show. Wrestling's fandom convention and expo here in Las Vegas. Saturday, September 14th, 10 to 5 at the Tuscany Suites and Casino in Las Vegas. If you want to get more information, give them a call, 702-459-7529. 702-459-7529. Or you can email them at shows@powerplaysportscards.com. They have a ton of great guests coming in there, so you might want to check that out. Look them up on Facebook and Instagram. That's Wrestle Connects. That's an X on the end. Wrestle, CONNEX. Should be a big show in September, so we're looking forward to hanging out with everybody over there at Wrestle Connects. Can't wait. Awesome time. Stephanie McMahon was hanging out at SummerSlam last night. Everybody was apparently thrilled to see her. She's still not back with the company yet in any role other than being Triple H's wife and mom to the kids. And another McMahon was running around Texas. I think Stu may have been the one to shoot the picture. But
no, not me.
He was the mutual friend.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Nope. But
look, I know. Nope.
A photo got leaked. We'll just say leaked in quotes, of Shane McMahon and Tony Khan at an airport in Arlington in an office. Chit-chatting. Of course, they had denied that they'd ever had any discussions about anything whatsoever. Well, they were discussing something. Apparently, the rumor is they were just talking about wrestling, getting to know each other a little bit. But, of course, the internet is going wild and speculating about this. So here's the question, guys. If you're Tony Khan, do you bring in Shane McMahon? And even if it's an off-screen role, do you think it would be a good idea to have Shane McMahon be a part of AEW? Phil, I'll start with you on that.
I mean, from a business perspective, no. At the same time, I think of what happened when TNA brought in Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, that they did give a lot of great insights on production, but then things didn't go their way. And when I look at how some other people have sort of taken and responded to being in AEW, I think Shane would sort of be like, hey, guys, you need to do things this way, which means my way. And I don't know how much Tony Khan would stand for that.
Stu, you were ground zero on this. What are your thoughts?
Well, ground zero, about 3 hours north on I-35. No. Look, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know what Shane McMahon adds, either on screen or off screen. Tony's got some great folks around him that can add, whether it's production or promos or whatever. So what does Shane McMahon add other than, horrible punches and excessive sweat?
Ooh, ouch!
And I could see. Look, I can fathom the possibility of Tony bringing him just because his name's McMahon, but that feels really petty. Not that they haven't gotten petty before, but that feels petty, and that I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
I was like, this is a rumor. So it was sort of like alleging seemingly before Tony and Sean met, there was this rumor that they were meeting. Sean actively said that was not true, and then it became true. But before even that, there was this rumor that Vince was interested in getting involved in AEW because now he has no more ties to TKO and WWE. Seemingly not allowed back. Hey, he might try to push the forbidden door at AEW.
The forbidden door? Here's how I feel about this is I might take a flyer on him just to see if there's a place you could fit in, if there's some knowledge you can get from him. You definitely get a ratings pop for him showing up on AEW TV. There's some positives to it, but I also understand where you guys are coming from as well, that, what does he really add to the company? Well, here's the problems that he had in WWE. I think a lot of it came down to he didn't like what was going on with his dad, and he kept leaving and trying to do other things because he didn't want to be connected with it anymore. But then, he'd keep coming back because, it's the family business. That how that works, guys. But I have a feeling it would be interesting just to, do a little consulting, pick up a little bit, talk to him, see what could possibly come of it, because it would be intriguing, I think, from a fan standpoint. And I think people would be tuning in if Shane McMahon was popping up on TV every once in a while. I agree with you, Stu. I think that you wonder what you could really bring in if it would just create conflicts. But would it hurt to give it a shot? I mean, really? When it comes down to it?
I think you could. I really do. Look, they got enough problems in the locker room, and I think we're going to discuss one of them. They got enough problems in the locker room. They don't need Shane McMahon there stirring things up even more.
Well, that's fair, Phil.
Well, one of the things I was trying to look up really quickly is, he did step down. So when he left WWE before, he went on to form tech firms in China. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure if he was still involved or not. So he also has a wealth of technology experience. Him and along with, I think it was Joey Styles, if my memory's serving me correctly, built the first WWE.com. And so, he has some technological awareness that he's been building on for years and years, is a member of the International Sports Management Group. So he does have some other professional experience beyond just being a character on television. Now, whether or not he wants to still be a character on television versus like advising, hey, I know these things that could help you. What about this leverage? That may be the role he needs to take for the benefit of AEW.
Yeah, I think there's some possibilities, but I would agree, Stu, if Tony does it, he's got to tread very carefully on this, very
short
carefully.
time. And the technology thing, look, Tony Khan, he's involved with the Jaguars, so he's got all the resources of the National Football League. He's also Fulham FC, so he's got all the resources of the Premier League. I think we can find some technology experts without having to pull in Shane McMahon.
Or you just make him a manager and see what happens too. You never know. But it'll be intriguing to see where all this ends up, if it goes anywhere. But yes, Shane McMahon and Tony Khan are having a little chit chat. Now, another thing that happened in AEW, and this is just unbelievable. So apparently Britt Baker was complaining about MJF in the locker room, and MJF's girlfriend, Alicia Tout, was there and let MJF know this was going on. And Maxwell went down to the locker room. He didn't barge in. He asked if he could come in. They let him in. And he and Britt apparently got into it, and MJF got so mad he punched a wall, and the whole discussion ended up getting Britt suspended from AEW for a little while. She's still going to be wrestling it All In, but Mercedes Moné even took a little pot shot at it on Dynamite. But this was an intriguing little situation with Britt Baker and MJF, and Britt getting suspended. I mean, I could only imagine what got said in this whole thing, but what a mess that is, Stu, huh?
Look, I'm a huge fan of AEW, but really, I would really love to go a month without hearing about some sort of backstage incident or some sort of controversy. It's starting to become white noise at this point. It's like, okay, who else? Look, we've all been in, situations. We don't like all of our coworkers. I get it. That makes sense. But all this stuff, it's like, really, again. And, the fact that they suspended Britt but didn't suspend Max, what was said? What was thing? And of course, we'll never hear. We'll never find out. But, man, it just feels it's so much
another
noise.
thing on the pile, It's
Yeah,
like, come on, man, stop. But
Exactly.
I think one thing that is interesting for AEW as opposed to WWE is because of the way their corporate structure is with AEW. They have to do things in a little more of a corporate-y manner as opposed to a wrestling manner. Whereas maybe you would handle things in the locker room, you all sit in an office, you talk and work it out, and it's done. Whereas when in a corporate setting like that AEW is under with Jaguars and everything else, when something like this happens, HR is involved, and we've got to do an investigation and everything else, and then it gets all NDAs and the whole thing. And that's a trick, I guess, for AEW being in the situation and the ownership that they're in, Phil.
That is true. I wish I knew. There's part of me that's like, I wish I knew more about what's going on. I don't want to know more about what's going on. To the same respect, there's been so much rumor, innuendo, what people say and talk about, like if something happened to that level, because again, you've heard that version of the story of things that have happened, and if that's what happened, like that's interesting. Because then what is it that got her suspended and Max didn't get a reprimand? Something to me in my brain, I'm like, something else is up. We're not going to know the rest of the story.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate because these are two people that are at the center of All In, and the last thing that they needed right now was something like this going down. So, not good. By the way, there was a comment in the chat box. Jesse Hyde, if Stephanie McMahon returns to WWE in some role, does that mean Triple H and Stephanie run WWE while with Nick Khan, while Shane runs AEW with Tony Khan, and AEW fans will say, "We want Vince," as in Vinnie Mac. Oh dear God,
Ain't gonna happen.
Oh.
It'll never happen.
no.
Look, Look, WWE fans don't want Vince.
No.
You think AEW fans are a little more, shall we say, politically versed? I guess best way to put. I don't know. No, you're not going to hear that. Look, we have seen the last. I pray we have seen the last of Vince McMahon involved in pro wrestling.
I would agree with that.
I don't care. In Shane McMahon coming to AEW, you're not going to hear those chants. No, there's no way on earth.
No, I can't imagine anybody wanting Vince back around with everything that he's done, and people just are so frustrated with everything that Vince did, and not just with the lawsuits and everything else, but over the years, the frustration and the things that they've seen that Vince has done that just don't make any sense. And no.
I mean, some of the people who were there at AEW who left WWE look at Vince and go, "That's why I left." For all of the different reasons of him. So if he came back, like, would you see a run back to the WWE? Like,
probably. Oh my God, that's a terrible thought, and shame on you, Jesse Hyde, for even putting it in the chat box. But it's okay. But that's part of the fun. We talk about it, and we're going to take one more break and wrap the show up. Coming up on our final segment, Phil Stamper, Trust and Phil on X, Stu Myrick at Stu Myrick on X, and very happy to have them joining me here as we enter year number 4 of the Mark Hoke Show. Very excited for that, and thank all of you who have been listening, giving us some great ratings. We do appreciate it. We'll come back and talk a little more pro wrestling on the other side on the Mark Hoke Show. Stick around.
101.5 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's do this one more time. Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here in Las Vegas on The Mark Hoke Show. I am the aforementioned one. Mark Hoke, thanks for being with us. Phil Stamper joining us at Trust and Phil. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Look at that. And it's hooking horns and everything on the live stream. Just not letting it go, are you? Not letting it go.
We got just 4 weeks until they take the field.
Oh, trust me, I know.
We get college football back.
Stu, you have to come on SportsX Radio, which airs here Monday through Friday from 6 to 8.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
Yeah, we'll get you back on.
Right.
And Mark, I've never corrected you because you always say I'm from Pro Wrestling Revolver. It's actually the Wrestling Revolver, and I'm not kidding.
I'm sorry. The Wrestling Revolver. All right, I apologize. My bad. Anyway, but we were talking about possible opponents for Gunther. There is a report out from Worked Wrestling on Twitter that apparently this is penned in. Now, whether it is or not for sure, who knows? But John Cena is apparently going to be one of Gunther's opponents. Do you like it, guys? John Cena taking on Gunther for the world title?
Why not? It's his swan song. He's going to do his retirement tour next year. He talked about it, when he announced, he talked about the fact, look, I'm not looking for a world title shot, but if I get one, why not? And of course, the story is right there. Can John Cena get world title number 17? Allegedly beat Ric Flair, although we know Ric Flair's had more than 16 world titles. But yeah, and I don't think John Cena is going to beat Gunther, but it'll sell tickets to see Gunther and John Cena.
Phil, you like this match?
It makes a really easy sell in an election year to have somebody chanting USA, USA. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, I hate that this is going to sound very stereotypical and probably maybe slightly racist, but to have somebody who's not from here going against the All-American John Cena, hero Marine John Cena, I think it's a very easy story to tell. It makes some sense. I felt this from the beginning. So when I say this next thing, this is how I have felt a long way. But now seeing that this could be where they build that, okay, he goes on to WrestleMania and he faces off Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. He wins it. Well, that was supposed to be his last match. Well, he can't just leave while he's holding the championship. So you stretch it out that much longer with him being the champion.
Yeah, he's said he's going to go till the end of 2025. So, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine that though.
Yeah.
I mean, the
rough thing though that might happen is if Rock's in the picture for the Universal Championship and he gets the championship and you don't see Rock for a year after WrestleMania, and is Cena going to do the same thing at the same time? Like, that's where I start going,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it would happen, I think it would be one of those things where John would win the title and within a matter of weeks, either at probably at the next PLE, if not sooner. I mean, maybe they even knock him off on Raw the next night. It would be a fast title reign. If Cena won it and held it for 6 or 8 months, I think I don't know how fans would react to that. Mm-mm. Yeah, so it's apparently on board though. Get ready for Gunther and John Cena at some point. That'll be, it'll be fun. Poor John's going to get his chest turned into hamburger. I don't know if that'll look good on the movie set, but it's all good. By the way, Phil, you were talking about politics, and I got 2 things I want to make sure we get in here before we get out of here. Did you see this, that apparently the Republicans and the Democrats have both approached Cody Rhodes?
What?
That's right.
The look on Stu's face, that blink you just made.
Here it is. In an interview with Gabby Laspisa, I hope I got that right, we asked him, I guess, about if he was going to was interested in running for president someday. And he said, so it's funny, it's been brought a bunch up lately because shocking as this might seem to people, we live in a side where it's really like you got your Democratic Party, you got your Republican Party. So if you get to fall in the moderate range anymore, even though so many of us have a moderate mindset, but I actually got approached by, I won't say people directly, but I got approached by individuals from both parties about potentially running for an office in Georgia. Cody Rhodes for president, everybody. What do you think? Phil, do we do it?
For the love of God, no.
I mean,
A, he takes a pay cut.
Yeah.
And B, he's too busy. He's too busy being champion.
Oh my God. I read this. I couldn't believe it. But it could just be for a local office or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But wow. Cody Rhodes being approached by both parties. I
mean, Kane's the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Rhino ran for office in Michigan. Not Mike. Oh my goodness. I can't think of there's other individuals in the world of professional wrestling that have gone on to go for political office. And why not? In Georgia, the Rhodes family's a no-name, Runnels family, he would stand a good chance in whatever, if he went in that path. He knows how to speak and orate in front of a group of people. He can do that very well. So
yes, you're right. But he just stay away from politics. Look, I've worked in state government, Texas state government for 30 years. Stay away from politics.
Yeah, Cody, don't do it. Don't do it, man. Just sign autographs till you're 70. It's all good, brother. Come on. Don't. Do yourself a favor.
Or like other presidents, that's when you run. Sorry, stop. I'm not that president. Not that kind of president.
Hey, by the way, did you hear Mark Henry's son, Jacob, signing with WWE?
That was the other story that I was going to bring up. And that took place on Thursday at his Mark Henry
Remix
was doing some
Rumble.
DJing at Remix Rumble. And that Jacob Henry, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, has signed with WWE. So after he finishes up college at Oklahoma, we get another Henry going at it. And Jacob's a beast, by the way.
Dude, okay, I know Jacob very well. I covered him in high school football. He played defensive line, and then his senior year played offensive line. He is a beast, but he is such a good kid. So well-spoken, such a wonderful individual, so talented. Not to mention he is, I think this past year was ranked number 6 in Texas high school wrestling as well. So he's got talent. He was with Mark every time I saw, backstage at AEW, he was with Mark. And Jacob will make a fantastic pro wrestler. Now, yes, he's going to go wrestle for that god-awful school north of the Red River. But, I'll root for Jacob. I love Jacob to death. I won't root for the school, but I'll root for Jacob. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to see if once that happens. Now, he did say Mark has told him he's got to get his college degree first. So it may be 3 or 4 years before we see Jacob show up at the Performance Center. But still, Jacob Henry is a fantastic young man, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him develop.
Yeah, so looking forward to seeing another Henry, and if he's anything like his dad, it's going to be great. It'll be terrific to have him in pro wrestling. Well, guys, we are just about out of time. How about that? That 2 hours just flew. It's amazing. But I want to give you guys a thanks for being a part of my show. And of course, we head into year 4, 3rd year anniversary right now, and means the world to me. So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you, John, not only his colleagues, but his friends. You're the best. So thank you to Phil Stamper and Stu Myrick.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Guys, we're going to be back next week with another great show, but follow us on YouTube because we're putting up all sorts of stuff over there. Subscribe real quick. It takes you a couple of seconds. It's The Mark Hoke Show. And you can follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all that stuff. So, check it out. Be a part of it. And, of course, go to markhokeshow.com. We'll see you next week. On behalf of Phil Stamper at Trust and Phil on X, Stu Myrick at Stu Myrick, of course, doing his Sports Guys Talk Wrestling, and the Wrestling Revolver for Phil Stamper. I made sure I got that right. We will see you next week. Have a great day, everybody.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.